2020 has been a very dramatic year in Australia's economic engagement with the Indo-Pacific region. And it's been a year to remember, but in many cases possibly also a year to forget. The year didn't get off to a good start with the early outbreak of the coronavirus pandemic around the world. And this had a number of problems for Australia's connections with the world. We had international supply chains interrupted, lockdowns closing industries globally, and indeed a turn towards protectionism as many countries scrambled to control the virus and its spread. This was then followed for Australia by an unfortunate set of trade disputes, beginning with China in May. The Chinese government, as a political sanction, applied very hefty anti-dumping duties to first Australian barley exports, and in coming weeks and months several other products. Since that time, China has applied sanctions to some 13 Australian export industries, which last year generated $54 billion of export revenue in China, a fairly substantial hit. Fortunately, there have been some good signs on the horizon as well, however. In July, the Australia-Indonesia Economic Partnership Agreement, or IHEPA, was finally ratified and entered into force. This is one of Indonesia's most highest standard free trade agreements ever, and will provide an important platform for Australia-Indonesia economic ties growing after we come out of the pandemic. And at the ASEAN Summit in November, regional governments agreed the 15-member Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership Trade Agreement. This is the single largest regional trade bloc ever negotiated, and will be especially important in unlocking multi-country value chains in the region as the pandemic eases. So once we move into 2021 and beyond that, Australia's economic relationships with the Indo-Pacific are going to look quite different. Some of our existing trade partners may fall from prominence, while others will become more important. Our agenda for next year, as the covers come off, will be to take the most of these advantages and try and rebuild those connections, which have been really critical for Australia and the Indo-Pacific's economic future.